friend, it's Pat Sloan here. We are on Crabby Thursday. So I decided to get my sort of like nautical, what is it? Nautical, like coastal, my coastal top on. I love this top. It's got stripes. See, stripes. So Crabby, 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 where are we at? Today I'm going to show you a version of Crabby that is just for crabs and the sand block. The table runner. Woohoo! Look at this. Look how cute he is. With table runner pillow and a crab quilt. That'll be perfect, right? When we wrap up. So I have a few little videos to show you on getting the table runner organized. So let's take a look. So here's my very fancy way of checking the blocks. They're 10.5-inch blocks, finished 10 inches, and I am going to put a spacer between here. So the glass part is about 40 inches. You would think after all these years of having this that I would have this measured out. Maybe this is the day I'll do that. I'll figure out exactly what size fits there perfectly. Probably not. So I will need to do like a border on the top and the bottom of this to make it sort of cover up that glass area, which is my goal. So let me draft something up and have it ready for you. This is how I start a brand new project. This is scaled full size. So I actually draw in here full size, so I don't have to do any funky calculations. So basically want my table runner, I'm going to go for 46 inches by 18. So that's the size that I want it. And I don't want it a color. So I'm going to make it empty, and I want to be able to see the lines a bit better. So that's what I do. So that's the outline. And I know that there are 4 finished 10-inch blocks. Those are the crabs, 3 crabs, and the sand. And I'll just go ahead and put color in there so I have something to look at. And this is, everything here is manual. So I have to, because it's a, whoops, I'm snapped to grid. So I want to have the grid, and I want to be sure my grid is accurate. Yes. Okay, so I'm just showing you, this might be really boring, but here it is. Now, like I said, I want to put a spacer, a small spacer between 2 of those blocks, and I'm going to have a border, so this stuff is not going to be right at the edge. And my spacer will be what? Let's just, for right now, move that guy out of the way because he's in the way. So if I want my background spacer, I'll make it white. What if I want it just 1.5 inches? Okay, that's not going 1.5 very nicely. So there we go, 1.5. And like I said, this is all super manual. There's nothing. Oh, it's not snap to grid. That's why. I was like, why isn't that snapping? Things should snap next to each other. There, you see they're locking. This software, many of you keep asking, and I keep telling you that it is called Draw Plus 8. It is a professional level graphics package that is no longer made. So you can't buy it unless you buy a used copy, which I don't recommend because they don't make it anymore. There's no help for it. There's no maintenance for it. There's no upgrades for it. I use it because I know how to use it. It's like my 3rd software I've used since I've been in business, and hopefully it'll last me as long as I'm designing because I don't want to learn a new one. I do not. So I need now to do the, okay, so if this is 41.5 and I want it to be 46, maybe I'll make it 45 instead. So what does that get me? There is 44.5. So what if I just make it another 1/2 inch, make those 2 inches on either end? Okay, so that's good. It doesn't have to be exactly, it's 45.5. All right, so that's good. That's the crabs. And now what I want to do is make a little inner border, one little inner border. Let's say it's 2 inches, and I want that a background like the white. I want it white. This is the background of the crabs. And then if I want to do a second inner border, I'll do a second one. Whoops, and that will be the one, I'm going to make that the one teal. I'm just making it gray because I don't really need to drop colors in here. I'm not printing in color, so I just do gray so I can see the distinction. Now it is 18 inches wide, so that's cool. That's what I want. I want it 18 inches wide, so that is it. All I have to do then is, write my numbers down if I want to print this out for myself. I'm going to make you a little pattern. You lucky quilters, if you want to do a little table runner like this, I will have a pattern to download on the Crabby page at my I Love to Make Quilts. So here was my outline, right? And it just fits just about perfectly because I made it just a ½ an inch smaller, which is super cool. Works out. Whoops. Works out. Okay, so we can just get rid of that guy. So I'll make a little pattern up, and that was how I came up with it.
I am super excited about this. So I'm going to get it basted up and just do a the little wave stitch across this way, the length of it, and I think that'll just be super cute. Use the same fabric here for binding. And I have a little layout of this over at the project page for the crab so that you can just go and print off the layout. So this is what it looks like. Ta-da! And you can get all the measurements to do 4 blocks and have yourself a table runner. Now, the other day we were talking about binding, segue into binding. And I want to follow up and tell you what I did. So let's go. So here's what I'm going to do. I brought the bar stool over and then brought the basket of bindings, and these are all the quilts that need binding. Pretty much there's a couple of them that already have binding, like these two, but the rest of them need binding, and hopefully most of that binding is in here. Plus there's a couple quilts at the spa at the Long Armor. So I am just going to go through here and match up what I can, and I'll probably have to go look for names of things. So like I know this is the Tulip Pink Butterfly, which is at the spa. This is the one that just came back, the Sweet Childhood Memories, which is right here. And it's got such cool quilting. This grid work turned out so cool. So I'm gonna have to be showing you that soon, and that's just came back. So this is gonna be up next after the other two for getting binding. So I'm just going to go through this and I'll show you the results when I'm done. So here's what I'm doing. I decided I would just go from the top down and hunt for the binding as I hit one. Like I hit this and I hunt for the binding. If I can't find the binding, then I put the sticker up here, because what I'll do is I'll pull fabric and put that with it and into the basket when I'm done. So I've done that. I'm down in here, so I'm almost done. So I've gone through all the quilts that are here. I have 7 of them that I don't have binding already done. I have bindings in here that probably were extras, and some of them may have been for quilts that went to charity, and instead of looking in here for the binding, I ended up just pulling extra fabric to give to the charity to do the binding. So I'm going to look through this and decide what I want to keep. There are a couple at the spa that I don't think I pulled binding for. So I don't want to get rid of these until those few from the spa I figure out what's going on. Like my socialites is at the spa, and I don't think any of these were for the socialites. So, because this is fig tree fabric, so I'm just gonna, I don't think any of this was slated for that. So now let's go and see which ones of these have bindings pulled. So looking in here, I have, well, there's the tags I was using. So this is some camping stuff, and I have a camping quilt, and I said like no, like I don't think this goes with that camping quilt. So I'm just gonna have to evaluate what's in there. I've got some green binding that I'm pretty sure was just leftover. So the things that, let me just push that back a little bit. So some of the things that were left over, I'm just going to pile here, which I'm pretty sure they're leftovers. These two, here's my pen. These two were options that I don't think I used. So I'm going to put them back in my fabrics. So we'll just stick them on the side. So they'll go back in the, and I have another random piece, which was probably for backing. Now, what else is in here? I have got, and I pulled this. See, I didn't ever put, like, I didn't put a note. What's the matter with me? I didn't put a note. So there's tons of this green. And I'm wondering whether I just cut more green. Purple, I'm pretty sure I went with something else. That was the one purple done with the crumb blocks. And then I have a black, and I'm going to keep the black and the purple and the green, these ones, because they are with my fabric, and I might, so is that green, so I might be able to use them for something. This one, I think I ended up with a different fabric for that quilt. So there it goes. This was extra. I definitely know this was extra. It's the quilt that I sent. It was the Kath Holden fabric. It was sort of the collage-y stuff. And I gave the quilt to my girlfriend. And this was extra. So that kind of, these are kind of like extras. And I know this one's extra. So that's an older fabric of mine. So I'm just going to put that over there. And I've got this raspberry. And I don't know that this goes with anything I'm working on. I used it in a project, but you know, that's not one of these now. And then there's some extra Christmas. So I'm going to keep the Christmas, but I think I'm going to let the raspberry go. I think these 4 I will let go into, there's somebody who takes a lot of, you know, scraps and things, and so I keep scrap bags for her, and I think these will all go in there, or I might just, I think I'll give them for the charity if they want them, so I'll ask. And then I had left over in here some notes for a quilt. There is no name of the quilt. Okay, no name, just the size. This is not helpful. And there is more. I think this may have been Happy Everything on the back. That may have been the Happy Everything. So anyways, I don't need that. That goes in the trash. So now I will take and put these projects back in here. This one's in a bag, which is very awkward, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do there. And then a couple of them, like this guy has a lot of stuff, like more fabric than I need with the binding for like a sleeve, but that's way more than I need. And then here is a label to go with the ballerina fabric, and so that kind of needs organized. So, you know, this is I'm trying to get it organized in here. So, and that is the binding project. So I feel pretty good. Now I just have to decide whether I go and pull some fabrics for these. And I might just go take a few minutes and pull some so that I have them. I don't think I'll cut them. I just pull it. And then by the time I get to the quilt to bind it, I don't know, do you think by the end of 2024 that all of those could be finished, the old ones? I don't know if that's possible, but it's a good thought. Okay, so that was that project. And here is the Halloween binding all done. So I've got short segments. I think it's going to be so cute on there. So darling. So that is all ready. Ready, Freddy. Now before we go and talk about chicken salad, our quilt along chicken salad, I want to tell you that my Promise Me layer cake is on special this week at the Fat Quarter Shop. So if you want to pick up my layer cake of Promise Me fabric, this is the week to do it before they're gone. So be sure you do that. Now the chicken salad quilt along starts at the end of August, but I want to go ahead and do a little deep dive and show you what it's about. All those details are also at my project page. Let's take a look at the chicken salad quilt along. Let me tell you a little bit about it in more detail. There's also a project page I have. This is something that was run by the Fat Quarter Shop and Lori Holt 2 years ago, maybe now, as a quilt along, and it is using 2 different books and chicken templates. So yeah, there's lots of options for you on this one. So let me just show the books. So the Fat Quarter Shop, well, first of all, Lori was doing it with the chickens. That's this picture. So the chickens were something that Kimberly Jolly wanted to do something different. She didn't want to do the chickens. So what she did is took blocks from these two books and did no chickens, but did pieced blocks from the books because the chickens are appliques. So let me put that picture up. Now the piece blocks from both of these books are all the food-oriented ones. So that's why she went across two different books. And what I did was I figured out that in the Farm Girl Vintage, the first book, there are 1, 2, 3, wait a second, let me read it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blocks from here, and then the rest of the blocks are from the second book, from this book. So there's more blocks from this book. So if you only want to buy one book and you want to substitute blocks for the other 6, you can pick 6 different blocks from here. Or maybe you want to put some of the applique chickens. And I noticed there is is that a rooster? I am not a farm person. But you know, if you want to mix it up so it's not just food things, you could do some piece blocks, whatever. So that is kind of what's going on here. I am going to be doing it just like the Fat Quarter Shop, so I'm going to be using both books. But each week when we do a block, I am going to show you the chickens. So let me just pop a picture of a chicken up. So Lori creates her chickens with this package. And the package has all of the shapes. So here I just pulled one of the shapes out. So this is what is in here. Now she does hers where these are like a Mylar plastic so that you can, you know, wrap your fabric around it so the edges are all wrapped around. And so it's not raw edge applique. But you can use these to do raw edge applique because all you do is just trace around it. And I will do one chicken and show you that while the project's ongoing. So this is you got a baggie in here, and like the chicken parts. Let me just get one of the bigger chicken parts out. Oh, it's got a, there we go. So you know, there's a body of a chicken. So here you can see. So that's a pretty big shape. There's one of the chicken bodies. I guess there's some, you know, so there's a whole bunch of those. I have a link to the pictures so that, you know, I'm actually going to put the pictures on the project page so you can see all the chickens. So this is something for doing the applique chicken. So you have to have this, and then you just follow the photo for placement and, you know, what is written on here. You know, and the project guide has all the chickens. Now, let me move this over. So let's take a look at the fabric. I'm using her cookbook fabric because that's just so delightful. It's what got me interested in this. So that is the background I'm using. You could also just use a white, a solid white or a tonal white, something with a little pattern. You wouldn't have to have that same one. The fabrics are all kind of a vintagey feel. There's greens and there's lots of things with lots of pattern like this. Looks like 70s wallpaper, right? Lots and lots. So a lot of this is done in the sashings, which gives it that look that we see on the sashing. There are, you know, lots of them with a white background, lots and lots more. And then there's a whole group of them with the aqua backgrounds. Just feels like my granny. Feels like granny. Teal, aqua, and there's more, another one with a light background. Plus there's shades, some shades of brown and pinks. Look at that, look how cute that is. They're just so cute. And reds, a few reds, red, everything red. And a little navy. So those are all of the colors. Now, there are wide backs, and so I have some of that. I believe some of it is not in stock right now, but I'll link you to everything on the project page that is there so that you can see what you might want to do. And there's also, like, Lori has cute rickrack if you wanted to maybe add some rickrack into your project. I have the red. I'm not sure how I'll use it. Maybe like around in the inner border. I don't know. It is just such a darn cute quilt with all these fabrics, which I just love these fabrics. So you have options. you can be creating just like the one I am, using just these 2 books. Or, whoops, or you could use, you know, like one of the books and be making some of the chickens, some of the applique chickens. You could do that like that. Or if you were really a chicken person, you could just get the bag of chicken parts and then you could cook up your quilt with just these. Okay, let's go back to the other side. I don't know. I just can't wait for this one. I just love those fabrics that have all, they're busy. They're busy. Let's just talk about it. They're busy. They're all medium tones. They sort of blend and shift into one another. And it's just, I love working with fabric like that. It's just so much fun. And this will be a bit mindless for me too, in a way, because, you know, it's already figured out, so I can just sew along. But I will show you a chicken. I will make a chicken, and then each week I will show you one of the chickens so that you can, if you're going to make a chicken here or there or to add in yours, you can. I'll probably do mine as a pillow because I want to have the quilt. I just like the way that the Fat Quarter Shop did it. So I also want to thank everybody for all your kind notes, your sweet notes about changing the routine up to Monday through Friday videos. So there are no longer going to be Saturday videos. I understand routines. When I broke both my wrists, I watched a lot of videos, and there were a lot of people that I watched that were doing, because it was right in the pandemic, people were doing a lot more videos than they normally did, but they couldn't sustain that. And so while I was going through my wrist exercises, which I had 3 times a day, I had to spend 45 minutes exercising 3 times a day. So I was watching a lot of videos, and I had several of the YouTubers I watched back their videos down back to 3 times a week because they just couldn't sustain that amount of video. So for me, for 3 years of 6 days a week is a lot, and I've enjoyed the 6 days a week, and now I'm going to enjoy 5 days a week. I'm looking forward to that adjustment, but I appreciate and understand changing your routine, and I know that that can be hard. So I hope that you fill your Saturday with some other lovely video to watch, or pick up and watch some of mine that you haven't seen yet, or, you know, catch up. So I love you. Mwah. Thank you for being here in the Sloan Zone. Be sure you make your crabs. I'll see you online.